There is a reason some people seem to know exactly how to hurt you. Not physically. Emotionally, they know exactly what to say, exactly what to criticize, exactly which insecurity to touch, exactly which wound still hasn't healed. And every time it happens, you tell yourself the same thing. How did they know? The truth is, most of the time, they didn't discover your weaknesses. You revealed them, piece by piece, conversation by conversation, story by story, confession by confession. Most people believe openness creates connection, and sometimes it does. But Machiavelli understood something darker about human nature. Every piece of information you reveal creates a possibility that one day someone will use it. Not necessarily because they hate you, not because they plan to, but because information changes power, and power changes behavior. Think about the people who have hurt you the most: the betrayal, the manipulation, the criticism, the disrespect. Almost all of it came from people who knew something about you: your fears, your dreams, your insecurities, your emotional triggers, your need for approval. The stranger on the street cannot manipulate you. The person who knows you can. And that is why the most powerful people throughout history shared far less than everyone around them. While others spoke, they observed. While others explained, they listened. While others revealed their intentions, they concealed them. Because they understood a simple rule: the more people know about you, the more options they have, and every option they gain is power that no longer belongs entirely to you. Today, you will discover the 5 things intelligent people protect at all costs. The 5 pieces of information that quietly determine who controls the balance of power in almost every relationship. Because once these things are exposed, they cannot be hidden again, and the final one is the most dangerous of all, because it is the one weakness almost everyone reveals without realizing it. Once you see this clearly, you cannot unsee it. Never reveal your next move. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler who announces his plans before he acts creates enemies before he creates results. Most people do the opposite. The moment they decide to change their life, they announce it. They tell friends. They tell family. They tell coworkers. They post it online. They speak about the future as if speaking somehow guarantees action. But something strange happens. The more they talk, the less they do. Psychologists have studied this phenomenon for years. When people publicly announce a goal, the brain often receives a small reward before any real progress has been made. The recognition feels similar to achievement. The applause arrives before the work, and the motivation quietly disappears. But there is a second danger, one far more important. The moment people know your destination, they begin forming opinions about it. Some will discourage you. Some will doubt you. Some will compete with you. Some will secretly hope you fail. Not because they are evil, because your growth forces them to confront their own lack of growth. And few things make people more uncomfortable than watching someone else become what they were too afraid to become. This is why powerful people often seem mysterious. Not because they enjoy secrecy, because they understand timing. They reveal results, not plans. They reveal victories, not intentions. They move first. They speak later. Think about a hunter walking through a forest. The hunter who announces every step catches nothing. The hunter who moves quietly eats. Life works the same way. Every unnecessary announcement creates resistance. Every unnecessary explanation creates interference. Every unnecessary revelation creates obstacles that never needed to exist. The average person seeks attention before achievement. The intelligent person seeks achievement before attention. One creates noise, the other creates results. So before you tell anyone what you are building, ask yourself a question. Would sharing this information help the goal? Or does it simply satisfy the emotional desire to be seen? Because those are not the same thing. And confusing them has destroyed more dreams than failure ever has. Secret 2. Never reveal your deepest insecurity. The most dangerous information you can give another person is not your weakness. It is your awareness of that weakness. There is a difference. Everyone has flaws. Everyone has fears. Everyone has insecurities. That is part of being human. But the moment you repeatedly reveal what you fear about yourself, you hand someone the master key, because human beings naturally move toward leverage, and nothing creates leverage faster than discovering what another person desperately wants to hide. Think about how many people casually reveal their insecurities every day. They joke about their appearance. They apologize for their intelligence. They constantly seek reassurance. They repeatedly mention the same fear, the same doubt, the same weakness. At first it seems harmless, even honest, but something subtle begins to happen. The people around them start paying attention. They begin noticing patterns, not consciously, automatically. And once those patterns become visible, they become usable. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He observed that rulers who exposed their fears invited attack, not because others were inherently cruel, because fear signals vulnerability, and vulnerability attracts pressure. The moment people know where your confidence breaks, they know exactly where to push. This is why criticism affects different people differently. Two people can hear the exact same insult. One laughs. The other loses sleep. The words were identical. The insecurity was not. The insult only works when it finds an existing wound. And the more openly you display that wound, the easier it becomes to target. This does not mean pretending to be perfect. It means understanding that healing a weakness is different from advertising it. The average person broadcasts their insecurities. The intelligent person works on them quietly. One seeks validation. The other seeks growth, and only one becomes stronger. Imagine two people struggling with confidence. The first constantly asks, "Do you think I'm good enough? Do you think I'm smart enough? Do you think I can do this?" Their confidence now depends on external approval. The second person says very little. Instead of collecting opinions, they collect evidence. They build skills. They improve. They strengthen the area that once made them insecure. Months later, both people look completely different. Not because one received more encouragement, because one built internal certainty. And internal certainty cannot be taken away by another person's opinion. This is the paradox most people never understand. The more desperately you seek reassurance, the less powerful you become. The more comfortable you become without reassurance, the more powerful you appear. People respect certainty, even when they disagree with it. They trust confidence, even when it is quiet, and they sense insecurity, even when it is hidden behind words. So the next time you feel the urge to reveal a fear, pause. Ask yourself, am I sharing this to solve it, or am I sharing it to receive temporary comfort? Because those are two very different motivations. One creates growth. The other creates dependence, and dependence always transfers power away from you. Secret 3. Never reveal how much validation you need. There is a question almost everyone asks. Few ask it out loud, but their behavior asks it constantly. Do you approve of me? Do you like me? Do you respect me? Do you think I matter? Entire lives are built around these questions. Careers, relationships, social media profiles, arguments, achievements, all driven by a hidden hunger for validation, and the more visible that hunger becomes, the easier a person becomes to control, because the moment someone realizes they can influence your self-worth, they gain influence over your behavior. Think about how easily people change when approval enters the equation. Someone compliments them, their mood rises. Someone criticizes them, their mood collapses. Someone ignores them, their confidence disappears. Someone praises them, their motivation returns. Notice what happened. Their emotional state is no longer self-governed. It is being outsourced, controlled externally, moved by forces they cannot command. Machiavelli would have recognized this immediately. A ruler who depends on public approval for every decision eventually loses the ability to lead. Because leadership requires disappointing people. Growth requires disappointing people. Power requires disappointing people. The person who needs universal approval becomes trapped. Every decision becomes negotiation. Every action becomes performance. Every conversation becomes a search for acceptance. And slowly, their identity stops belonging to them. It begins belonging to the audience. This is why some people can never say no, why they over-explain, why they apologize excessively, why they tolerate disrespect, why they remain in relationships that damage them. They are not protecting the relationship, they are protecting access to validation, and that makes them vulnerable. Because anything you cannot live without can be used against you. Read that again. Anything you cannot live without can be used against you. The person addicted to praise becomes controlled by praise. The person addicted to attention becomes controlled by attention. The person addicted to approval becomes controlled by approval. Freedom begins when that addiction ends. The strongest people in the room are rarely the most admired. They are the people least dependent on admiration. They know who they are before anyone else tells them. They do not need constant reassurance. They do not need universal agreement. They do not need everyone to understand them. And because they need less from others, others have less power over them. This does not make them cold, it makes them free, because when validation stops being a necessity, it becomes a bonus. And that changes everything. Secret 4. Never reveal your long-term plans too early. Most dreams do not die from failure. They die from exposure, long before reality has a chance to test them. Long before effort has a chance to strengthen them. Long before they become real. They die because they are shown to the wrong people too soon. This is one of the oldest mistakes in human nature. The moment people become excited about a future possibility, they feel an overwhelming urge to talk about it, to share it, to explain it, to seek approval for it. And in doing so, they unknowingly place something fragile into the hands of people who may not understand it, or worse, people who secretly fear it. Machiavelli understood that unfinished plans are vulnerable plans. A ruler who revealed his strategy before building his position invited resistance before he was prepared to face it. Most people do exactly that. They announce the business before the first customer, the transformation before the first result, the goal before the first step. And then something predictable happens. Opinions arrive, doubts arrive, criticism arrives, questions arrive, and slowly the energy that once fueled the vision begins to disappear, because every explanation forces you to defend a future that does not exist yet. The average person spends more time talking about the dream than building it. The intelligent person protects the dream until it can protect itself. Think about a seed. Nobody digs it up every morning to check if it is growing, because growth requires protection, silence, time. Yet people do this constantly with their ambitions. They expose them to skepticism before they have roots, then wonder why nothing survives. The truth is simple. Your plans do not need applause. They need execution. They do not need attention. They need protection. And they certainly do not need the approval of people who have never built anything themselves. There is a reason the most successful transformations often appear sudden. The promotion, the business, the success, the confidence. People say, that happened overnight. It did not. You simply were not invited to watch the process. The work happened in silence. The struggle happened in silence. The growth happened in silence. And by the time the world noticed, the foundation was already complete. That is how intelligent people move. Quietly, deliberately, without announcement, without performance, without seeking permission, because they understand something most people never learn. The less attention your plan receives, the more energy remains available to complete it. And completed plans speak louder than any explanation ever could. Secret 5. Never reveal what emotionally controls you. This is the most dangerous secret of all, because every other weakness eventually points back to this one. What controls your emotions controls you. Not sometimes, always. The world is full of people who believe they are free, yet their emotions can be manipulated by a comment, a rejection, a criticism, a delay, a disagreement, a stranger's opinion, a social media post, a message that arrives at the wrong time. And every time their emotional state changes, their behavior changes, their focus changes, their decisions change, their direction changes. Without realizing it, they are being steered. This is why powerful people pay extraordinary attention to their emotional triggers, because emotional triggers are access points. They are doors, and every door can be opened by someone who knows where it is. Imagine a puppeteer controlling a puppet. The puppet believes it is moving freely, but every movement originates somewhere else. Most people live exactly this way. They are not responding to life. They are responding to triggers. Someone praises them. They rise. Someone criticizes them. They collapse. Someone agrees with them. They feel powerful. Someone rejects them. They feel worthless. The trigger changes. The emotional dependency remains. Machiavelli understood this principle centuries ago. The ruler who could not control his emotions eventually became controlled by those who could. Because anger blinds, fear weakens, pride deceives, desperation exposes, and every emotional weakness eventually becomes visible to those who are watching. The frightening truth is that many people spend years learning about others, while learning almost nothing about themselves. They know who betrayed them, who disappointed them, who hurt them. Yet they cannot answer a simple question: what consistently controls my emotions? And until that question is answered, freedom remains impossible. Because freedom is not the ability to do whatever you want. Freedom is the ability to remain yourself regardless of what happens around you. The person who masters this becomes incredibly difficult to manipulate. Criticism no longer controls them. Praise no longer controls them. Approval no longer controls them. Fear no longer controls them. And when external forces lose their ability to move you, you become something rare. You become stable, and stability is power. Not loud power, not dramatic power, the quiet kind, the kind that changes everything. Look back at what we have uncovered. Never reveal your next move. Never reveal your deepest insecurity. Never reveal how much validation you need. Never reveal your long-term plans too early, and never reveal what emotionally controls you. Notice the pattern. Every one of these secrets protects the same thing: your independence, your freedom, your power. Most people spend their lives giving pieces of themselves away. A thought here, a weakness there, an insecurity, a dream, a trigger, a need for approval, until eventually they wonder why they feel powerless. The answer is simple. Power was never taken from them. It was revealed, voluntarily, one unnecessary disclosure at a time. Machiavelli understood that power does not belong to the strongest person. It belongs to the person who remains the most difficult to control. The person who speaks carefully, moves deliberately, observes patiently, and refuses to place their emotional life into the hands of other people. That person becomes dangerous in the best possible way, not because they control others, because others can no longer control them. So remember this: the more people know about you, the more options they have, and every option they gain is power that leaves your hands. Speak less, observe more, protect what matters, and watch how differently people treat you when they can no longer predict you. Comment below, "I reveal less," and tell me, which of these 5 secrets do you think most people give away far too easily? If this video changed the way you see human nature, subscribe to Silent Power for more lessons on psychology, self-mastery, Machiavelli, Carl Jung, and the hidden dynamics of power. Because once you learn to understand people, you stop being controlled by them.